Alright guys, let's get you guys started with this array spell checker program. So the first thing I want you to notice here is that we have this string array called dictionary that's already in the program. And the difference between this this variable and variables that we've used before is that this variable is not inside the main method. And so if you want to think about what this means, it means that this variable can be used inside of this method and any other method that we might create later on. Okay? Now there's a little caveat to that. Each of the methods that we've been creating is a static method, and so the variable that we're creating here called dictionary also has to be static. If you guys really want to know what static means, you can go ahead and do some research on your own or ask questions in an email, and I'll try to answer it as best as I can, but I'm not going to do it in this video. Just know that if you want a variable basically available to multiple methods, okay, then that variable has to be declared outside of the methods, and if the methods are static, the variable also has to be static. All right, so anyway, this dictionary is a string array, so it has multiple strings that are associated with it. The is dictionary 0, of is dictionary 1, and is dictionary 2, and there's a bunch more words there. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the user input a sentence, and then we're going to go ahead and check to see if the words in that sentence are in this dictionary. And if they're not, then we're going to change them to uppercase. So in order to do that, the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and import, if we could spell that, java.util.scanner, so that we can create a scanner inside of here. So I don't know what we've been calling that, but maybe it's console equals new scanner, and then we go system.in, and we want to make sure that we do console.close as well. Okay, so in between there, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and prompt the user to enter a sentence, and then we're going to get a string, which is going to be the sentence, and that's going to be from the console.next line. Okay, so that's going to read in the whole sentence that they enter, and what we want to do is we want to get the words from that sentence. So this is why I kind of wanted to do this video, because you wouldn't have maybe remembered, or I don't think you even really looked at it when we went over strings the first time, but there's a way that you can take a string and break it up into each of its parts. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to say there's another string array called words, and sorry, my cursor just kind of jumped around on me, called words, and we're going to get the words from the sentence. So we're going to go sentence dot and then split. And what we want to do is tell the split method what it should split around. And so words are split up in a sentence by spaces. So I'm just going to go ahead and put quote space quote in there, and that'll tell it that we should take our sentence and split it up into words. Okay, so if I go ahead and run this right now, it says enter a sentence for me, and if I say something like the man said the dogs walked themselves, okay, after I hit enter, the man said the dogs walked themselves becomes the value of sentence, and after this line, sorry about that, jumped again, and after this line, the words array has the as index 0, man as index 1, said as index 2, etc. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have actually 7, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements inside the words array, and the elements start at 0 and end at 6 for indexes. Okay, so now what we want to do is basically loop through So I'm going to kind of add that on for you. Loop through the words. So you can use a while loop or a for loop, whichever one you want. Loop through the words and check each word to see if it's in dictionary. Okay, so I'm going to let you do that loop, but then how do we check to see if it's in the dictionary? Well, hopefully this makes sense to you, is that what we would probably want to do is create a method, right, and see if, my cursor is really jumping around on me, see if word in dictionary is true, okay? And so the idea here then is word in dictionary is going to be another method, okay? And we're going to have to tell the word in dictionary which word it is that we're talking about. Just to give you an idea, we're just going to say words at, some index here, okay? So you're going to have to fill this in for yourself, right? Which index do we want to look at? And if we're looping through it, then that's probably a variable, okay? All right, so if words is in the dictionary, then we don't have to do anything. If the word here is not in the dictionary, okay, then what we want to do is change that word in the array to be a all caps, okay? And just to kind of give you an idea, I know I'm throwing a lot at you here, but just to give you an idea, maybe what you want to do is open up a new tab for yourself and go ahead and do a search for string Java. That's how you spell Java, okay? And then what you can do is look up on here, all right, and look at all these methods and see how would I make a string be all capital letters, or I'll give you a hint, all uppercase letters, okay? So you can either look there or you can go to the class website and look at the strings, okay? Go to the class website, look on the strings page. Remember I gave you that handout that gave you a lot of methods that we think are maybe useful, okay? So hopefully this makes sense. We're going to have a loop here, okay? We're going to have a loop, and then we're going to have this kind of code inside of that loop, and then here, if word is in the dictionary, I should say if word is not in the dictionary, right? So that's how we say it's not in the dictionary, or we could say, depending on how you like to do this, right? Or we could say that that equals false, right? So if word in dictionary equals false, then we want to change that particular word, whichever word this is, whichever index we're at right now, into a all caps word, okay? So then we're going to be done with the loop, okay? And once we're done with the loop, we're going to want to output the whole sentence. So we're going to output all of the words in that array, okay? So that would be something like for int I for index equal to 0, I less than words dot length, I equals I plus 1. Okay, hopefully that's making sense right now. So we're just saying start at index 0, go through all the indices in the words array, okay, increase each index by 1, and for each of those things we're just going to print out the words at I plus a space, okay? And so we're going to do that for each word. This is going to output all of the words in the sentence. Okay? And so for the example that I did, the man said the dogs walked themselves. I don't think walked is in the dictionary. I don't think themselves is in the dictionary. So those should be capitalized when it gets output. All right. So the last thing that we got to look at here is what the heck is this word in dictionary method? Okay, so I'm going to help you guys write that as well. All right, so here is the end of the main method. All right, here is the start of the method that we just referenced, word in dictionary. So we got to write that method for ourselves. So it's going to be public and static. In this case, it's not void because we're expecting that it's going to return a value here. All right, and so that value that it's going to return is either going to be maybe false. If it could be false, then it could also be true. So we're going to go ahead and say it's a Boolean method. Okay, word in dictionary. All right, and word in dictionary is expecting to get some word. Okay, so expecting to get a word. So I'm going to put string word in there. All right, and so now what I want you to do in here is write another loop that's going to take this word and see if it's in this dictionary. Okay, so it's going to go through and it's going to say, is word equal to dictionary sub 0? Is word equal to dictionary sub 1? Is word equal to dictionary sub 2? All the way through the whole dictionary. Okay, so that's another thing for you to think about. And basically what we want to do is we want to say, if it's in there, return true. If it's not in there, return false. Okay? And so this is a little maybe not totally clear at first, but the best way to do this is to create a Boolean variable, okay, in dictionary, okay, and say that we're going to assume that the word is not in there, okay? Then you're going to write a loop looking for word, kind of like what I just said, right? If word dot equals dictionary sub 0, if word dot equals dictionary sub 1, etc. So look through dictionary, loop through dictionary, I should say, looking for word, right? Use an if inside the loop. If word equals an element in dictionary, then what we want to do, if word equals an element in the dictionary, then we want to set in dictionary to true. Okay? So if only, to true. Okay? So we only do this if the word equals one of the elements in the dictionary. All right? And then at the end of this, we're going to just return whatever in dictionary is. Okay? So if in dictionary stays false, because we never found it in there, then we're going to return false. So word in dictionary would be false. Okay? And if we turned it to true, then this would return true. And so when we come back up here, whatever gets returned, if it's false, remember, we're going to change that word into all caps. All right, so change that word, that particular word, whatever that is. Okay, all right, so I'm throwing kind of a lot at you here, but hopefully this video helps to kind of make sense of what you want to do.